what is up, South Nation? It's your boy Hector Flores coming at you with Week 2 recap for the Houston Astros. For those of you who aren't really familiar, we used to do other sports in Houston on Saw Sports TV, but now we're all going to do it all on Saw Sports. So if you guys want to see what I thought about the first week of baseball, go ahead and there'll be a link in the description that'll take you immediately to that video so you guys can hear my thoughts on that. But I'll go ahead and recap this second week. I just finished the Wednesday night game for the Astros where they lost 14-7. You'll hear my thoughts on that, but so just you guys have a reference as to when this video was made. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the games obviously, and of course some storylines that need to be brought up. But if you guys want the content on all the teams in Houston, make sure you guys subscribe to Saw Sports. Make sure you click on that notification bell so you will be notified when we drop videos just like this, or when we do our live streams all throughout the week around 6 p.m. Central Time. And if you guys want a little bit extra discussion with guys like me or Ed Honcho or other guys from the Roundtable, then go ahead and join our Patreon. Sign for that $5 tier and it'll put you in our Discord where you'll talk to us and other Discord members. So there's that. Make sure you guys also like and comment on this video, and let's get going with this video. Alright, to start things off, obviously where we last left off was the Astros going into a weekend series against the Anaheim Angels where they won 2-1, where they had two games that went to extras. Man, games like that is going to take its toll. This is now the third time the Astros have gone to extra innings, and you're kind of learning this extra inning rule where you have a player on second. Usually it's the player that got out from the previous inning that goes at second, so you automatically have a runner in scoring position. How do I feel about this rule? I mean, for this situation, I'm all about it, just because this is kind of the period to go ahead and try things, just like how they're trying this new stupid playoff system, which I think is stupid. You guys can tell me as much as you want that you actually, if you like this, I'm gonna just tell you you're stupid. And I know that's a dumb thing to call somebody, but it is stupid. But anyways, but yeah, so we got to see a little bit about that. So the Astros ended up winning one of the extra inning games and losing the other one, and now they are in a series with the Arizona Diamondbacks where they won the first game, and then they just lost today 7-14, which was due to just a really terrible fourth inning where they gave up 9 runs. 8 of them came from Lance McCullers Jr. Just came after starting out so hot, just sizzling out in that inning. And it's usually just because of the fact that, like, most of the time when Lance McCullers, when he sees the guys for the second time, he usually tends to not do as well. But yeah, no, that was a bad inning, and I think there were some other issues as well. I think because Miles Straw isn't familiar with the outfield in Arizona, so obviously he had some issues there. But I mean, you know, people are going to make arguments for the pitching. This was a bad pitching game, at least for that fourth inning. But I think they held their own. I mean, they hit runs, but that's basically it. But they'll be going into the final game of the series on Thursday, which was supposed to be Zach Greinke, but is actually now going to be Bielek taking his first ever career start for the rookie. So he'll be going into that game. So Zach Greinke will now be playing in the upcoming series against the Oakland Athletics. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But you know, obviously this video will be dropped whenever it gets dropped. So either in the next week recap, I'll tell you whether or not the Astros won that game, or Honcho will probably drop it somewhere around here whether or not the Astros won or not, depending when he drops that. I believe he will be dropping this on Friday. But yeah, so that basically is what these games came from this week. It's gonna be interesting to see the Oakland Athletics, just because one, it's funny as like in the last few games, the last series have all been teams that I put in my personal top 5 of series that I want to watch. for the Houston Astros. And if you guys want to see that, I'm pretty sure there'll also be a link in the description. You guys can, because obviously that's when we dropped it on Saw Sports TV. So if you guys want that, that'll probably be also in the description as well. But yeah, I think it's just going to be it's an interesting series. Unfortunately, Mike Fiers will not be starting in that series, so I'm a little disappointed. But we'll eventually see Mike Fiers. We'll eventually see him. We'll get him. But I mean, there's that. So let's go ahead and talk about some storylines. All right, to start things off, I'm going to talk about, as far as these storylines, is Christian Javier, man, makes his second start appearance and gets his first career win. I mean, Christian Javier has looked very good to me. I think that he looks pretty solid. I like his ability to stay in the game and not to kind of fall under pressure. I think he did a really good job, especially in his obviously his first career win. But in both starts, I've liked what I've seen from him. So it makes you kind of confident, at least for the meantime, till whatever happens with Justin Verlander, at least hoping that maybe this injury isn't necessarily going to be a season-ending injury, just a short, just maybe a few weeks off, and maybe he'll be back. Kind of one of those hopeful things, but you do feel confident with Christian Javier. But obviously, with the starting rotation, you definitely need somebody to come back, whether it would be a Justin Verlander or maybe a Jose Urquidy to come in to help out with this rotation, especially after they just announced that Josh Dames will be now in the bullpen. And I think it's honestly kind of maybe the better call for him. I think he just doesn't have it right now, and I think it's just going to take some time for him to get that confidence back. And I mean, the bullpen, you can either take it as a negative or a positive. The positive, I think, is honestly the fact that he'll be utilized a little bit more, especially in these situations where if the Astros have a 6-run lead, maybe he can go in there and just be relaxed and go out there knowing that if he doesn't give up, maybe not too many, like maybe just 2 runs, he'll be fine. Kind of one of those things, kind of how they're approaching with Brian Abreu right now. But there's that. What I'm kind of hoping, maybe he can get out of that rut, man. Maybe he can get his head back in the game and earn his spot back in the starting rotation. But as for right now, that's where we're looking at. So, and then the final story that I want to talk about is Roberto Osuna is out for the season. He's officially going to need Tommy John surgery. I know he's going to go get a second opinion, but I mean, it sucks, man. Because I mean, he's looked pretty decent. And what's funny was, well, not funny, but what's crazy was when in the Angels game where he actually had to call the trainer for himself. He looked like he threw the pitch. He looked perfectly fine, and then he just pointed at the trainer, and it wasn't a good sign, man. So hopefully the second look, maybe they think differently. Maybe it's not Tommy John, but from what it looks like it's Tommy John. And we're without a closer, so it's going to be asking a lot more from these young bullpen arms to step up, man. I mean, they've already done enough for me to be that I'm saying that I'm actually pleasantly pleased with the way they're performing. Some to call out, obviously, Andre Scrub, Blake Taylor, Brandon Bielak looks pretty good. Brian Abreu needs some work, but I think the part that I always feel confident when it comes to this pitching is obviously the fact that we do have Brent Strum as the pitching coach, and I think that's the only reason why I'm so confident in this pitching is just because we do have Brent Strum. But then I'm also going to throw in another player, which is Martin Maldonado, man. I mean, one of the things that I praise Martin Maldonado, aside from the fact that he's a Gold Glover catcher, is also the fact that he's really experienced and knows how to help with pitchers. I mean, there's a reason why Garrett Cole preferred him as his catcher, and I think that his ability to work with all the pitchers and his due diligence, the fact that he does try to go and work with these guys and talk to these guys and make them feel confident and make them feel comfortable is really big for me. And I think that Martin Maldonado is honestly the right guy for this situation. But so hopefully this thing continues. My only issue right now is just the fact that still the bats need to get better, man. And I specifically, obviously, George Springer, Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman, kind of the main bats. You see Michael Brantley and Carlos Correa kind of doing their thing for the team. We need some more. We need more from the big guys, man. And I know already I'm gonna set myself up with some trash can jokes, which, okay, it's fine, it's whatever. But yeah, the bats need to get better, because I think once the bats get better, I think that this is gonna be a really, really good, dangerous team for the Astros. But if we're gonna still, because like I said in the week 1 video, this team is still looking like they have the issues from the 2019 postseason, which was the fact that they were just not taking advantage when they had runners in scoring position. They were not taking advantage of high pitch counts. They were able to get these high pitch counts, but they were never able to really take full advantage of these pitch counts. That's kind of my gripe with it. I mean, I understand that the Astros are in the top part of the MLB when it comes to runs and all that, but the fact that you're leaving so many guys on base, the fact that you're leaving opportunities to increase that run average is alarming to me. So I think that once these guys can do better, once they can stop swinging at questionable pitches, once they have that better plate discipline, once again, I know the trash can jokes, but I mean, that's honestly how I see it, though. And it's kind of, to me, the thing that kind of sucks is the fact that if you're really trying to make a solid argument that you didn't need the trash can or the buzzers or whatever all the trolls are saying, you're not necessarily helping their argument right now, because of the way Springer and Altuve and Bregman are currently hitting. But I mean, like I said, once these guys get into the groove of things, I think, once again, I know I'm setting myself up for trash can jokes, but like I said, once these guys get on a roll and everything like that, I think this team's going to be very dangerous, especially if they're able to get hot at the right time. And I mean, they're still winning games, so I mean, if they're still winning games right now, so I think you could take that for what it is. But yeah, so hopefully it gets better. So that is the recap for week 2 of this Astros season. Like I said, this video was made on Wednesday, so after the Astros 7-14 loss to the Diamondbacks. So depending what happens on Thursday, where they play against the Diamondbacks again for their final game of that series, once again, maybe Honcho put it right up here again, whether or not the Astros won that game or not, what was the score, and like maybe right over here. After that, they'll be going into a weekend series with the Oakland Athletics in Oakland. So I'm excited for that one. Once again, another team that I put in my 5 series matchups that I'm looking forward to watch. And so there's that. So please comment, tell me what you guys thought about this second week. Tell me what you guys think about the Astros right now. Are you confident that this team can get better? Do you think the bats can get better? Do you think how do you feel about this pitching? How do you feel about Christian Javier? All those things, put it in the comments. If you guys want to watch my first week's recap, make sure you guys go into the description. We'll put a link right there so you guys can go ahead and see it. And if you guys want to see the video where I gave my personal 5 series to watch in this season, it'll also be in the description as well. So if you guys want that. Now, that's all I really got, man. So make sure you guys subscribe to Sauce Sports so you guys get all the content, all the teams in Houston, because obviously it's Sauce Sports, all sports, but only Houston. And if you guys want more of a deeper discussion, make sure you guys join the Patreon. Sign up for that $5 tier. It'll put you on the Discord. Make sure you guys follow us in all our social media platforms on Sauce Sports HCX on Twitter and Instagram, and our Sauce Sports Facebook group. So with all that being said, man, chucking up a deuce. Y'all stay saucy.